Welcome to PD on the Go, the podcast that delivers bite-sized learning on communication, collaboration, and facilitation skills for busy teacher leaders. Tune in while you're in the car, on your lunch break, or making copies, and get ready to level up your leadership skills. My name is Mary Beth Anderson, and I'm with the Office of Professional Learning in Fairfax County Public Schools, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Hallie Case.
Hello.
So on today's episode, we're going to dive into one of the 7 norms of collaboration. So these are behaviors that teams use to help them to collaborate and do the work of a professional learning community, or really any work.
Yeah.
High-functioning teams use these 7 norms of collaboration.
They're good for all groups.
Yeah, first let's see if I can name them all.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And then we'll tell you which one we're going to focus on today.
This is a curveball. I'm not prepared for this.
Me neither, so I hope that you'll be able to help me. So
Okay.
we've got pausing, paraphrasing, posing questions, putting ideas on the table, presuming positive intentions,
Paying attention to self and others.
and through our curveball, it'll come to us. It'll come to us later.
I can't even remember the 6 you just named.
All right, well, we'll come to it.
Okay.
All right, and we will put this as one of the resources.
We will.
Because there is a self-assessment from Thinking Collaborative that helps you look through the 7 norms of collaboration and measure sort of where you are and where your
Is
team
it
is.
listen actively? No.
No, because it's a P.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all Ps. I think so. All right, it will come.
Okay.
But the one we're going to focus on today is putting ideas on the table.
Yeah.
Because teams often rush to the first good idea that someone shares, or to whoever's the most vocal in their team meeting.
Yep.
And they just kind of go with that idea. And so first we want to kind of talk about why is it important to make sure that we put ideas out on the table and spend time in looking at different strategies. So what is some thinking that you have around that?
Yeah, I mean, I think because that's the reason we collaborate. If we were just going to go with our own ideas, then we're having a narrowed perspective around solutions that could be found, ways to approach things, and ideas that might best serve students. And so by putting ideas on the table and really thinking about brainstorming collectively, what happens is you're going to land on better ideas.
Yeah.
Because we do our best thinking when we're in community with other people.
100%. And so we've got to think about ways to structure this, to put the ideas out so that we don't just go with whoever's dominating the conversation or like, oh, that was a good idea. Okay, let's do that. So like, what are some ways that teams could structure it so that they could get to some better outcomes?
Yeah. So one idea that comes to mind you would need sticky notes. So lots and lots of sticky notes for everybody. And we would call this a generate, sort, categorize structure, where individually, whatever idea that's on the table that you're coming up with thoughts for, brainstorming for, you would write one idea per sticky note individually. Then, as a group, or if you have a little bit of a larger team, I would say if you have more than 6 people, you might want to split into 2 smaller groups. And then you would sort your sticky notes to see, okay, which ones are common and which ones might be outliers. And the goal isn't always necessarily to narrow it down to the trends, because just because it's a similar idea doesn't necessarily mean it's the better of all of the ideas. So don't lose those outliers. And then you would, in some cases, you might categorize them. So all of these sticky notes go together. They're sort of saying similar things. How could we name this? And that would help give a team kind of big picture ideas to rely on as they're making their decision based on the ideas. But it ensures that everyone's had a chance to put ideas out there and that you're talking with each other about what those ideas are.
Yeah, and I liked how you said just because there's a lot of them doesn't mean that it's the best idea, right?
Yeah. Or maybe not best is the right word, like qualifying if one idea is better than another, because the other thing is we have diverse students in our class, just like our team thinking is diverse. So you might then just have this whole menu of ideas to choose from for the students that you have in your room that you might need a menu of options for.
Right. Give that universal design for learning, too. That helps you to kind of come up with what those choices might be for the students in front of you. Another way that you could do it, still using maybe sticky notes, or someone could make a list on a paper, or
note card or whatever,
is first giving some independent processing time and just let people think about what are all the possibilities, whether it's like a thought out idea or not, or something you've never tried or something you've tried before, and then being able to just share it round robin fashion. So each person would take a turn, but maybe if somebody's already shared an idea you cross it off your list so it's not shared again.
And it forces you to listen to other people because you don't want to repeat an idea that's already been said.
Because sometimes when I guess a common pitfall when we're putting ideas out on the table is we're so set in what the idea that we have that sometimes it's hard to listen to other people to really hear their idea because we think we know what we should do next.
I think a variation of round robin that I like too is when you are sharing your ideas, stand up, because sometimes if the energy starts to feel low in a team meeting, because we're tired and it's been a long day, there's lots to think about, moving your body can help kind of wake your brain up.
Yeah.
And then once you're out of your ideas, you sit down, but that's a way to kind of incorporate a different version.
I'm also thinking about, we've talked about kind of two different ways to just brain dump strategies. And sometimes when we come into CLT, we might be planning something like an event, or we might be thinking about a new intervention model that we're going to put into place. And so we can think about perspectives. And so that's another way that you can put ideas out on the table, is really think about the groups that you serve and think about the perspective from each of those groups. So how might families think about this? How might administrators think about this? Students, teachers, IAs, resource providers. And so really thinking about all of their perspectives and then ideas based on those.
So just a different way to get ideas on the table if it's not just options for things.
Right.
But we need to put ideas out there to make some protocol decisions or something bigger for the school, and you want to consider lots of people that would be impacted by that decision. Yeah. Okay, so that makes me think, though, there needs to be some conditions in place for it can't just be the facilitator who knows about these things. So what are some of those conditions?
So one, you'd have to make sure that when you put an idea out there, once it's out there, it belongs to everyone. Because there is some things that happen when you put ideas out on the table. It's like, we always go with Hallie's idea. So you are smart. But it's like that way it doesn't, or if an idea isn't chosen, if you had to come to consensus about a strategy, that mine never gets picked. So once it's out there, it belongs to everyone. And that has to be shared with everyone. I can't just think that and no one else think that. Kind of share that condition.
And I think with that, there will be opportunities to advocate for ideas. And in the initial act of putting ideas on the table, you want to kind of teach your group to hold back on the advocacy of this is the idea we should go with because all of these reasons, and it's really obvious that this is the one it should be. So don't jump to advocating right away. Build it into a part of the process of your conversation.
Yeah. And to have that conversation, Adaptive Schools talks about two ways of talking. They talk about dialogue and discussion. So dialogue is really a time where you can put all the ideas out on the table. We're sharing our ideas. We're talking about the pros and cons of them. We're not coming to any decision. There's no pressure. We're just exploring all of the options. Whereas a discussion is more of when we make the decision. And so as a team, you need to know okay, this is a time when we're in dialogue and we can explore all of those options. And so it'll be really important as a team leader or teacher leader to explain these conditions to everyone so that you get the most out of your conversation.
Yep.
So we will share some of these strategies to support your team into putting ideas out on the table. Please follow us on our Instagram page at FCPS_PD, where you can find all of the resources from this episode and our other episodes. And if you're an FCPS employee, you can go to Atlas and search PD on the Go and find our resources there. Join us next time for more PD on the Go.